I was 8 years old the first time an adult made me feel like I didn't belong, and the crazy part is I didn't fully understand what was happening in that moment. I just knew something inside me snapped into focus. It happened on a flight, one of those long international ones where everything feels bigger than it really is. The plane, the voices, the looks people give you when they think you're not paying attention. I was traveling alone, clutching a beat-up stuffed rabbit with one floppy ear, wearing a blue dress my mom ironed twice because she said first impressions matter. I was excited, nervous, proud, even because my dad told me, "This seat is yours. Don't let anyone tell you different." I didn't know how important that sentence would become. The plane was boarding in Atlanta, headed to Madrid, and business class felt like another universe to me. Wide seats, quiet voices, real silverware. I slid into my window seat, pressed my face against the glass, watching the ground crew move like ants below, thinking about my aunt waiting for me on the other side of the ocean. That's when the flight attendant stopped in front of me. Tall, stiff posture, perfect lipstick smile that didn't quite land. She looked at my boarding pass, then at me, then back at the boarding pass. "Sweetheart," she said, dragging the word out, "are you sure this is your seat?" I nodded and handed it to her again. My hands small, careful. She scanned it longer this time, then frowned slightly like she'd just smelled something sour. "I'll be right back." She came back with another attendant. They talked over my head like I wasn't there whispering, but not really whispering, you know the type. Unaccompanied minor, business class. I felt my stomach tighten. People around us started paying attention, pretending not to, but you can feel it when eyes land on you. "Everything okay?" I asked quietly, trying to sound grown, trying not to cry. The first attendant smiled again, tight and rehearsed. "We're just making sure everything's in order." A few minutes later, she walked away. I thought that was the end of it. It wasn't. When I leaned forward to grab my rabbit from the seat pocket, I saw it. A folded napkin tucked just behind my headrest. At first, I thought it was trash. Then I opened it. One word written in thick marker, ugly and deliberate. I won't repeat it here, but it was an animal. One that wasn't meant kindly. My ears burned. I remember thinking this can't be for me, and at the same time knowing exactly who it was for. My chest felt hot, then hollow. I didn't scream. I didn't say anything. I just sat there holding that napkin, feeling smaller than I'd ever felt in my life. That's when something else happened. Something that changed everything. The woman sitting across the aisle leaned over. She had tired eyes, business suit, laptop bag at her feet. "Hey," she said softly, like you talk to someone who's been hurt. "Are you okay?" I shook my head. She glanced at the napkin in my hand and her face changed. Not shock, not confusion, but anger, the quiet kind. "Can I see that?" she asked. I nodded. She took a photo with her phone and handed it back. "You didn't do anything wrong," she said, firm this time. "Not one thing." I pressed the call button after that. Another attendant came, younger, nervous. I asked if I could move seats. She went to get the first one. The same woman. She sighed like I was an inconvenience. "Business class is full," she said, "but we can find you something more suitable in economy." The way she said suitable told me everything. I swallowed hard. "No," I said. "I'll stay here." She rolled her eyes and walked away. That was the moment I stopped feeling scared and started feeling angry, the kind of anger that doesn't yell, it sharpens. I pulled my phone out of my backpack and called my dad. When he answered, I broke. I told him everything, my words tumbling over each other, the checks, the looks, the napkin. He didn't interrupt. When I finished, there was a pause. Then he said calmly, "What's the airline? What's the flight number? What's her name?" I told him. He said, "Okay, I've got you." What I didn't know then was that my dad wasn't just my dad. He was also someone with leverage. A lot of it. While that plane was still climbing, he was already making calls, not yelling, not threatening, just stating facts, attaching photos, asking very specific questions to very specific people. About halfway over the Atlantic, an announcement came over the intercom. "Senior flight attendant, please report to the cockpit." I felt it before I understood it. The woman froze. People watched her walk forward, posture-stiff confidence cracking just enough to notice. She didn't come back. Another attendant took over. When we landed, the captain asked everyone to remain seated. Security boarded. They came straight to my row first, spoke, gently escorted me off the plane to my aunt, then went back inside. Through the glass, I saw the woman being led out her face, pale hands shaking. That image burned itself into my memory. The story exploded online later. Different names, different angles, people arguing in comment sections who weren't there. But the facts didn't change. The airline investigated. They found previous complaints, warnings that had been ignored. She lost her job, her license. She was charged. Consequences followed. And me, I learned something at 8 years old that some people never learn at all. That silence protects the wrong people. That dignity isn't something you wait to be handed to you. That speaking up isn't disrespectful, it's necessary. Here's the part that still messes with me. If that woman across the aisle hadn't spoken up, if my dad hadn't picked up the phone, if I decided to stay quiet because I was scared, none of that would have happened. The napkin would have been thrown away. The moment would have disappeared. And she would have done it again to someone else. So let me ask you something. If you were there watching that unfold, would you have stepped in? Or would you have told yourself it wasn't your place? And if you were me, 8 years old alone, would you have believed your voice mattered? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Argue if you want. Share your own stories. Because the line between right and wrong isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just a quiet choice to speak when staying silent feels easier.